every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist James McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your mid-morning statewide forecast. And looking at our Skywatcher pictures, got some beautiful pictures coming in from the sunset and some storms that happened yesterday afternoon and evening, and see some of the shadows coming off some storms in the distance here with this nice picture from Chris Cheatwood in Anniston. And Valerie Hughes in Tuscaloosa got a nice one of a storm in the distance from Tuscaloosa, and we got quite a few opportunities to see that yesterday afternoon. Christopher Owens and Morris sent this one in, catching some lightning with this storm that wasn't too far away in northern Jefferson County and up in kind of southern Blount County as well. So some beautiful pictures and video that we got, and we appreciate you sending those to us. Satellite and radar this morning had a few showers and a storm or two in the south central part of the state earlier this morning that has since dissipated, and we just have some leftover clouds, and the rest of the state looking very sunny right now. But you look to the north, and there are some scattered showers and thunderstorms along a front that will help to spark off a few additional storms as we get into the day today. As far as our SkyCam tour, starting off blue skies pretty much everywhere. Russellville is at 75 degrees. Earlier had a few low clouds and some fog, but it's now since cleared out of the area. As we move over towards the east in Huntsville, beautiful view to the southeast and to the Hampton Cove area, 74 degrees, and dew point at 67, so it feels very nice out there right now. And as we move to the south, Montgomery, 80 degrees, blue skies there, beautiful view there into Montgomery. And then down to the south, Fairhope. This is our newest SkyCam. We just got this online yesterday, so we're excited about it. It's got a beautiful view of the bay here. It's 81 degrees there, and a little bit more moisture as you get closer to the coast. It's 72 degrees for the dew point. So what we're watching for today and through the weekend, a few showers and storms are possible today, but expecting mainly in the south central part of the state or the northern part of the state, but most places still stay dry. Hot and dry will be the story for tomorrow for sure. It will be definitely hotter than normal. And then a Saturday cold front will be approaching. Eventually we'll be passing through, and that'll bring some lower temperatures as we get into Sunday and into the early part of next week. And as far as our Skywatcher reports for lows this morning, Jeff Lee and Carbon Hill got down to 61. We hit 62 in both Ethelsville and Rimlap from David Tilley and Rick Crouch. And then Dennis Stewell and Meadowbrook and northern Shelby County got down to 64 degrees. Scott Shields and Owens Crossroads up in the northern part of the state only got down to 66 degrees. Temperatures right now, though, we've warmed into the low 80s in many spots. It's 82 in Troy, 82 in Eufaula as well, 84 in Dothan. As you move to the north, it's 79 in Gadsden, 78 in Anniston. And as we get through the rest of the afternoon, we do expect to be pretty warm today. It'll be getting into the low 90s in many spots, 91 in Greenville, 88 in Thomasville. And again, upper 80s to low 90s will be the trend for today. Then for tomorrow, going to warm it up a little bit more. We'll have a relatively dry air mass in place that'll help us to warm up a little bit more, so we could get up to places like Birmingham now up to 94 degrees, 96 potential in Tuscaloosa and Florence. So again, mid 90s will be the story, a little bit hotter than normal, but thankfully the humidity not going to be too bad for tomorrow. Looking at our futurecast, as we move through the morning, we expect again smattering of isolated showers, maybe a storm or two, south central part of the state are possible, and then along the northern end of the state up near Tennessee could have a couple of stronger storms up that way, but they may not even make it into the state. As we get into later on tonight, again, expect things to start to clear out, and we expect as we get into Friday that it will be a dry day for the most part. Now, as we get into Friday night football, this model showing really nothing on the board. A few models showing at least a couple of isolated storms potentially tomorrow, but we expect most places for high school football will be good for tomorrow and have good weather for that. And then as we get into Saturday and that front begins to move through the area or get closer to the area, we'll have a little bit enhanced chance of some scattered storms through the state. Here's our severe outlook for today, and we have this tiny little sliver in the northeastern corner of the state that's in the level 1 marginal risk of severe weather, and that's really just for some gusty winds. And again, we expect a couple of storms could clip that northeastern corner for today, and that should be about it. Not expecting anything too much, but we'll certainly keep an eye on it. This is Drought Monitor Day. Thursdays is when the new Drought Monitor gets released. This is last week's, so we already had some dry areas and some moderate drought starting to be introduced in the southwestern part of the state. But this week's, we've seen that start to increase a little bit more as far as drought conditions. So Marengo County getting into the severe drought. Now, thankfully, had a pretty good downpour in spots of that in Marengo County, near Demopolis yesterday. That'll help a little bit, but that won't be reflected until we get into next week's. And we'll need a little bit more than that to kind of help start to alleviate some of the dry conditions, especially in the western part of the state. But as we move into the next week, not expecting much relief in the form of any sort of significant rainfall. Again, if you get under a heavier cell here and there, you might get a little bit more, but generally the overall trend is going to be very low rainfall totals as we get through the next week. And as we look ahead into the weekend, the forecast dew point, so we're looking at Saturday evening. This is when we expect to start to see that front sag into the area and bring in those lower dew points. So that's going to be meaning, again, kind of like we saw a little bit more than a week ago, a pretty comfortable air mass moving in as we get into Sunday and into the early part of next week. And that's reflected in your 7-day forecast. As we move through today, again, we're expecting to get into the upper 80s in North Alabama. Slight chance of a shower or a storm in isolated spots. There's that warm day for tomorrow, 94 degrees for the high. And again on Saturday, a little bit elevated chance of showers and storms with that next front starting to push through. But look at the temperature trend after that, getting back down into the low 80s in many spots, low to mid 80s, with lows dipping back down into the 50s in the northern part of the state. For South Alabama, again, today's going to be hot. Don't really expect much chance at all for any sort of scatter showers or storms in the far south part of the state. South Central, though, could see a few upticks of that, or a few showers and storms. Again, tomorrow looks hot and dry. Hot and dry again on Saturday too, and really again, the rain chances stay pretty low for the southern part of the state like we've seen here most of this week. And then as we get into next week, again, cooling off just a little bit as we head into that part of the week with that drier air mass in place. All right, that is your Alabama forecast update. We'll have another one coming up this afternoon on the Alabama Weather Network.